All right, welcome everybody.
Yeah.
I'd like to call this meeting to order at 1:06 p.m. Please note this meeting of the Heritage Advisory Committee is video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to the municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting by electronic means, you are consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. I will now read the township's land acknowledgement statement. The lands we know today as the Township of Puslinch have been home to Indigenous people since time immemorial. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Hattawaudarunk, as well as the treaty lands and traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee. With increasing encroachment by non-Indigenous settlers in the Township of Puslinch, the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee could not continue their traditional lifestyle and settled in their villages along the Credit River and in the Grand River Valley. These Indigenous nations uphold their treaty rights within our jurisdiction. Today, the Township of Puslinch remains home to Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island. We are grateful to have the opportunity to share and respect Mother Earth and are committed to building constructive and cooperative relationships with Indigenous nations. So we'll move to item number 2 is the roll call. I'll now do a roll call for those in attendance going from my left to my right. Christine.
Here.
Lily. Andy.
Yeah.
Cheryl.
Here.
And Ray is absent, and township staff present. We've got Laura.
Present.
Super. We'll now pause for a moment of reflection. Okay, and now to item number 4, the confirmation of the agenda. The agenda had previously been circulated by township staff. Does anybody have, are there any amendments to the agenda as it had been distributed?
The resolution is that the Heritage Advisory Committee approves the March 2nd agenda as circulated.
Can we have a mover? Cheryl, seconder, Andy, all in support? Carried. Number 5 is a disclosure of conflict of interest. Based on today's agenda that had been previously circulated, does anybody have a conflict of interest they would like to declare?
I don't, but is,
Do I?
yeah, I think you do.
Okay,
I think there's one of the houses from, Creek Hills, or, yeah.
Yeah, just through the chair, there is a property that I did a site visit with that you did arrange with your chef, I want to say. I forget the gentleman.
Oh,
Okay, sorry,
I totally missed it. It was right here. Yeah, there it is.
have an address for that, so you can just state it.
It's 4095 Side Road 25S, and yes, I need a sheet. In the
And-
stupid thing.
Andy's house is.
Oh, you have one too, Andy? Okay.
You do that for yourself.
So Christine. For Christine, it was 4059 Side Road 25, so
Yeah.
This is correct. It's
Mhm.
409. Yes. And then
I'm thinking of the last. I don't know. How did it get to be this
Andy, you
big?
had one?
Yeah,
What
my
was the
house,
address?
which is 4071, Side Road 25 South.
What's that right here?
407. I'll just, you just roll with it. Okay, so we're gonna do this in 3 parts, just to pull out the conflict, so I'll just let Laura shepherd us through
Oh.
this.
Sorry, through the chair. This will be when we do that specific report. We don't have to do
Oh.
any action items on it now.
Thank you. Okay, stay tuned for an exciting conflict of interest summary from Laura. Okay, no delegations, I'm assuming. Okay. And then we're into the consent agenda, which is item number 7. So we've got a couple pieces in there. First one being item 7.1 and the second being item 7.2. Based on those 2 items, is there anything anybody would like to discuss with, at the committee level before we, look to, approve them as part of our consent agenda?
Through the chair, I just want to point out that the one consent agenda was just a procedural bylaw amendment that council made late in 2025. And it basically allows committee members, if you know in advance you're away, you can participate and be an active member at a committee meeting virtually.
Oh, good, that happens every June, yes.
It's not meant to be like a day of thing, like it's happening an hour before. The process is you would just email myself and then I can forward it, or you can email our CAO and mayor and then they'll just approve it in writing. It just allows for, if you know you're gonna be away, especially a lot of our committee members are retired, if you're away for a long period of time, and you're still able to now participate virtually, and the rest of us would be in chambers here. So that's just the one piece I wanted to flag, but there's no action items.
Thanks, Laura. Yeah, I think that provides some flexibility. Anybody have any questions on either of those, two items? I had one, Laura, and it's more just a follow-up. So from the meeting minutes of January 12th, item number 7.2 in the agenda, the township had issued some communication to the province in respect to insurance challenges faced by heritage properties. And I'm just curious if any feedback had been provided by the province, and if you don't know, maybe my suggestion would be is just whenever that comes, if you can bring that back to this committee, it would be appreciated.
Through the chair, absolutely. I can look and see if we've heard anything back, and then if I have, I can follow up with you guys. So the resolution for the consent agenda is that it's received for information.
Can we have a mover and a seconder? Christine and Lily, all in support? Here. Okay. So now we're moving to item number 8, which are the committee reports. We've got a couple here. The first one being 8.1 in the agenda, report HER 2026-003, which is the 2026 Part 2 Heritage Registry update. And Laura, you can provide us with a brief overview.
Through the chair, as we go through this report, let's talk about all things properties except for the two that have conflicts, so that we can all talk about everything as a group, and then just at the very end, we'll break it out. So this report is for the committee to approve the 2026 Part 2 priority property statements of cultural heritage value or interest. It includes the timeline in the report of everything we've done so far. And there is some reasoning as why a lot of those properties weren't included, and kind of how we can talk about maybe next steps for that if we wanted. I think similar to a couple of the 2025s and a couple of the 2026 Part 1s, it doesn't mean that they're never gonna come through and they're not gonna go anywhere. And we can even still prioritize them after that Jan 1, 2027 deadline. Like, we can still designate after that deadline. If there's a demolition permit, we can't act on it. But ideally we can still designate a lot of them after that. But I think ideally we would just try to keep engaging with the property owners and try to get that site visit. Forget about that list of properties that we're not bringing forward. And then can also continue to have summer students work on trying to keep editing and working through those statements as well. But I'm happy to answer any other questions or as we go through it.
Thinking
Yeah,
if
go
we
ahead.
could, and our term is coming to an end in August or October, whatever this year. Perhaps it would be good to do your next meeting, the one after that, to look at all the properties that are not yet listed. As we started with the list from, and kind of Lynn was behind it, 100 or so properties that were on the list to start with. If we can look at probably more so where which ones are not going forward, because the date is still January 1st, 2027. And so we can leave it in good shape for the next door.
Through the chair, I think that's a maybe a report I can bring back that includes all the properties that are on the register, which would be the ones that we've designated, the ones that we're currently, just like the timeline, we're with all of them, the ones that we've maybe deferred or as a committee withdrawn at the committee level, just so we can have a list of all 110 or so of the properties and a kind of like a status update with all of them. And then that would also give us the list of the ones that we want to make sure that we still try to prioritize and find good research on. It's a good idea.
Really good suggestion. Any other comments? So maybe just to build on Lily's, which actually phenomenal, because that was on my list of things, so well done. What I would like to see is probably for the last Heritage Committee meeting at the end of this cycle. Is that gonna be June or is it one in April?
We, through the chair, we have one early September.
Okay. So maybe for that meeting, what I would love to see is a staff report of all the properties. Which ones have proceeded through designation, which ones are we're continuing to work through as part of our 2026, which ones are paused, for lack of a better way of saying that, and which ones have been removed.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a really good public record of them, and that I think, you know, from my standpoint, everybody here can see all the good work that this committee's done over the last 3.5, 4 years. But also it provides that list into the future. And just to build on Lily's comment, I think one thing I'd probably like to do between now and the end of this cycle is to add something into the work plan along the line of just making sure that we have a listing there, and that the heritage designation process does end with this term of committee that's provided for the next iteration and continue working on and addressing properties, building historical documentation for maybe ones that we find is adequate at this time. So I can write something up at a future time for.
Are you meaning like in the
check
work
this.
plan, just include the properties that we haven't worked through? Okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
So I'm looking for like, which ones have been designated, which ones are pending, which ones have been removed, and which ones we're still working.
Clarify on that. So that would be closer to the end of our term. We want something to kind of finalize it, but I wondered the ones that are not being looked at, perhaps we could have that list sooner, just in case there's something we can help along. I think, not that we're not busy, but
Our next meeting will be June. February or May.
Our next meeting is May, the first Monday of May.
Would that be,
Next down the Monday in May.
that be reasonable?
Yes, that isn't, creating that listing isn't in a certain amount of staff time. So it's definitely something that we can look at in the May meeting, then in the September meeting.
Yeah,
And whether,
so that's an interim, and then I think I'll call it a capstone report for the end of this.
Mhm.
So, trying to, okay, yeah. Any reaction to what Lily discussed? Good build.
so the majority, so these properties will now get sent to our peer reviewers for their edits and review. We're just finalizing who that peer reviewer is, fingers crossed. And then, depending on election timelines, they will get sent to council sometime in the summer. We just want to be wary of those 120 days around the election, and if there's any contentious ones, what that would mean for sending them around the election time.
it's the election in October this time.
Correct.
Was that-
Yeah, the fourth Monday of October. 26th.
So that's basically anything in September and October is kind of a wash.
For the terms of this report, we'll have to break it into 3 separate resolutions. The first resolution, everyone can participate in. We will, if the committee's okay, we'll approve the first chunk of those statements at Schedule A through Schedule E and say that they're endorsed by the committee, and that committee recommends council state their intention to designate for those priority properties.
Okay, so based on what Laura said, if you go to page, that'll be the last page of report 2026-003. So we're looking for properties A through E. Would somebody like to make that motion to move forward with that? Hey,
I'll
Cheryl
second that.
and Christine. All support. Carried, all right. Two.
Perfect. So this second resolution will be that the priority property 4095 Side Road 25 South, just Schedule G, be endorsed by the committee for designation. And that they recommend council state their intention to designate for that priority property.
Is that Andy's?
That is
in conflict?
Christine's. They're both on Side Road 25 South. It's like you guys. Popular area.
Okay.
So this one's
Thank you.
Christina's out.
I had a question,
Mhm.
just in reading the statement of cultural heritage and design value and stuff, it's still like, there's still unanswered questions and stuff. And so I just want to direct the conversations not to the person who lives in the house. But if we can include somewhere that should come to Creek Hills organization.
Mhm. For sure. Yeah. I know what you mean, okay. Okay, so we'll just need a mover and seconder for that specific property. Sans
Christine is, so we have a mover, Cheryl, seconder, Andy, all in support. Great, carried, so that is that F? There.
And then the third resolution for this report will be that 4071 Side Road 25 South be endorsed by the committee, and that the committee recommends council state their intention to designate for 4071 Side Road 25 South.
Andy's out. Correct. Okay. So can we have a
I'll
motion?
move that.
Christine, seconder, Cheryl.
Mhm.
All right, all in support of that one. Okay, I didn't
Nice-
see,
nice
I didn't
catch.
see your hand.
Nice catch.
Put it down. All right, all in support? Carried. Okay, thank you for shepherding us through that bureaucratic process, Laura. Now we are off to item.
Is this where we would ask if we should have questions about some that went? I think, yeah. Okay. I don't have anything with me. But I sent it to you,
Mhm.
that I had 3 that I sent in, but.
We just need more information on them, or do,
No, I recall that,
Mhm.
yeah.
mhm. Ideally a site visit, it's just gonna be tough trying to engage with them to get a site visit. And then. We're just worried sending it to the peer reviewer as is. We just want to have more research on the properties. Similar to the ones, we've had a few of these in the last couple of batches. Where we just want more information on it. Especially as recent peer reviewers haven't been from the township. That's a big reason why as well. But we'll keep trying. And it doesn't mean we can't bring it forward after our deadline. We can always
So-
keep bringing it forward.
It wasn't that we had an objection from.
Correct, yes, no, if we had an objection or any objections in the last month or so, I would have included it in the agenda.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten anything.
That's good, that's good clarifying. Okay. Are we good for the next one?
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're on agenda 8.2. Report HER 2026-004, which are the goals and objective report, and Laura will provide us with a brief update.
For sure, through the chair. This is our standard report that we see all of the time that we like to always look at. That kind of goes over what our active goals are, the main one being the committee working through those part 2 priority properties. And trying to endorse as many of those, and then the second, what's the second? Oh, the permanent frame display, the permanent frame display is still an active goal and objective, quote unquote. Another update is that probably at the last council meeting, council stated their notice of intention to designate for. Now you're putting me on the spot, 10-11 property, the 2026 part 1 batch that the committee endorsed last September.
But it doesn't.
It was about a dozen. So the objection period for those batches is. Like March 14th, March 15th, so far we haven't received any, is it the 14th? Thank you.
I've had some calls.
Okay, good. I should have prepared more of the dates. I was like, I knew it was the middle of March. So we'll see if we have any formal objections that come to staff before that deadline. And if we do, we'll go from there.
Good. Any questions for Laura at all on this particular report for the goals and objectives?
I would just make a comment. that I did speak to Joanne after I got the.
Okay.
So, she's still working on it and. But I just give it a little nudge.
Yeah, we have the money, we have
Yeah.
the, like, the budget line item is quasi there, it's not specific for the permit for display, but. $300 is still there, so we can work through that whenever the time comes.
Good. I had 1.5 comments. So the first one was just in respect to the barn preservation. It's on and I'm thinking very much towards like the
Mhm.
next 4-year increment and setting up that version of the committee for success type of thing. And so, Laura, I know that Lily did lots of work in terms of carving out some heritage conservation
Mhm.
district
Mhm.
language. Do we have something similar for the barn preservation proposal, or is that something we need to make a bit more robust? Similar fashion to the heritage district.
Through the chair, the latter, I don't believe we have a subcommittee for all things barns yet, because the intention was that would probably be a priority of the next term. And then it would go through that process of having, a committee memo and a goals and objectives proposal form needed. Fingers crossed, pending if we get grant funding for a summer student, it's also something I could have a summer student really dig into, over the few months of of this year as well, to kind of get a kickstart of what that goal and objective may or may not look like. But there's no formal proposal yet, but it's good to sit on a list of things that, as we see things coming forward.
When, not to give you a hard date,
Mhm.
when do you anticipate knowing whether we have the township will have a summer student that can be passed?
Is that a CSJ?
Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
so first they said April 1st, and now they're saying early April.
Mhm.
And so that probably means early May.
Yeah, every year we've applied for it, we've heard back later and later, I've
Yeah.
found.
And
each
the
year.
requirement is earlier and earlier, because this year it was like December was when we all submitted, so.
I'll see. And we get a little less funding every year, but.
But they bumped it up though. The government has youth investment went up this year.
Nice.
Most recent budget's
That's good. Yeah, and so I would have told you end of March, but now I feel ambitious even saying that after what.
That's fair. And I don't wanna put you in a spot where you don't have that
Mhm,
information, so.
mhm.
My suggestion would be, if we can task, in the event, so the thinking here is, if we get a summer student. And they can be tasked with that,
Mhm.
fantastic. In the absence of that, and presumably we would know by our May meeting.
Correct.
In the absence of that, my suggestion is that we form a subcommittee to at least take a high level memo statement that we can draft over the course of the summer for barn preservation and present it at our last meeting of the year.
Mhm.
With the idea of, if we could carve something out, it will sit there for the next iteration of this committee to react to, as opposed to just saying barn preservation. Because I think if I was on that committee moving forward, at least I would have something to react to
Mhm.
based on the interactions that we've had at this committee and engagement with the Barn Preservation Fund. Barry and my take. Does that make sense for everybody?
Through the chair, I know that, there is the barn book. I'm
Yeah.
forgetting the formal word of it, that has a list of all those barns. Is maybe me trying to circulate that to the committee a good start of seeing where, like, what we have. That will be probably the guiding document that we use, I assume. It would be, where it's a good, at least landing page of all the barns we have history on in the township. If we wanna formalize it in a subcommittee, we can. We also don't have to until there is the new committee as well.
Let's wait and see if we get a summer student.
Okay.
And if we don't, my preference would be is to do that over the summer, is just to do a memo up.
Okay.
And
Absolutely.
stop there, is that way we have something that the next iteration of this committee can react to.
Mhm, mhm.
Is that fair for everybody?
Yeah, I think so.
And then just my last one. I'd like to add another one. So if I look at just Heritage Register and Bill 23, 2024, or excuse me, 2023, 2024, and 2025 properties. That list for 2027, after we work through all the 2026 ones, if we could add that to the work plan for the future.
Mhm.
And what that list looks like is what we just spoke to earlier with Lily's comment, is it's all the ones that we haven't got to. And I don't want to forget them or drop them just because.
I agree though, if it gets added as another draft goal,
Yeah.
that'd be right.
So that would be another one that I think I would just like to capture. And again, if that's something that, I think it's relatively administrative in nature, if we could have the summer intern draft that. In the absence of that, can we do a subcommittee? Again, it's very administrative. The reality is it's probably just an Excel file of capturing it, but I don't want to lose that would be my, so if we capture it as a goal and objective for the next iteration of this committee,
Mhm.
it's not gonna get lost in the show.
I know what you mean, we can add, I can add that to the work plan.
Any reactions to that thought?
I just add one thing if that's
Yeah.
all right. So for properties that came through pre-restoration, but then being in there for that. Kind of starting the list was roughly 100, but that was a centennial kind of plaquing project. I wonder if there's a way to go back into the community and look at things that were built, like, cause usually it was like 100-year kind of. If the property was 100 years old, or the building was 100 years old, it was kind of a heritage kind of property, but we're now in 2026, so that puts at least 26 years in addition to that from the past properties in the mid-century, the 1950s. To see if there's anything, I don't know if there is, but it should kind of, the scale should kind of go up because our list should be pretty small for what's not designated.
Mhm.
Compared to what we started with, but there might be more to add to it, is what I'm getting at.
Totally. Yeah.
Like that cool house around the corner from you.
Which one?
It's actually Andy's daughter.
Oh, that one, yeah, yeah.
It's a modern structure, maybe that should be.
Yes, there's no reason why properties that don't live on the register today can't be looked at for designation. They absolutely can, as long as they hit the criteria, it can be designated just because it lives on the register right now. Those aren't the only properties we can ever look at. We could look at. We just have to know what's out there. Maybe that's what you're kind of
Right,
thinking
that's
is.
what I'm getting at, is
Yeah.
perhaps a goal
Yeah, a future goal would be
could
more.
be to look and see what is not considered heritage yet.
Heritage Jason. Well, that's good. Yeah, we got a laundry list for the next iteration of the committee. I will look forward to all of you being on that committee, right? And
So.
tell me when you're.
What do I have? The resolution is to receive it for information, and then I can take, the takeaways is updating the work plan with the 2027 draft, statements. And we'll have to come up with a name, but I know exactly what you're meaning, like properties that aren't on the register that may be considered for designation, kind of having a subcommittee focus on that for the next term as well.
It's called outstanding.
I mean, I suspect that will need to be done with the barns as well,
Mhm.
because like that list, there's, you know,
Just changes to it.
yeah.
That could be going back to the bylaws that are already created. Yeah, we've got another goal for the next committee.
Absolutely.
That's good. You know what, I just kind of look at this as we've had a really, really successful term from a heritage standpoint, and I think one of the challenges I think we faced when we first started this committee 3.5 years ago is like, got a bunch of posters and what else type of thing. So
Yeah.
we've really been able to carve out a lot of really good work on behalf of the community. So my goal is for that next iteration of committee that we've given them a bunch of things to ponder and decide if they would like to move forward. That's ultimately their remit, but we're giving them something to react to and say there was enough merit at this table that we wanted to put those forward. So I think that's like a goal is to set them up for success. Whether they choose to enact those, that's entirely their discretion. Okay.
We should move in sector 4.
Okay, after that rambling conversation, we're looking to approve report HCR 2026-004 with the noted direction provided. A mover and a second. So I got Andy and Christine, all in support. All right, carried, and here we go. And I think the rest you can kind of work through and provide updates over the next number of months as go. Okay. So now we have report 8.3 HER 2026-007, which is 7108 Concession Road 2, and it's an update, Laura.
Through the chair, the committee, I believe, has seen a similar request to this that came in before for a property on Queen Street way back when. We received a request from the public to review 7108 Concession 2 to see if it meets the criteria for designation. The township doesn't have a whole lot on file for the property right now. But I guess the mission is, this is kind of a great example as to what you were saying. If it doesn't live on the register right now, is it valuable enough for designation? And for, if there's interest in looking at this property, if a subcommittee just wanted to be formed to present any sort of research I guess we can find on the property. I can keep looking as well. I need our records, but
Is it, like, when I looked it up, it looks like it's a barn, is that correct? Or, like, what did they,
Google Maps, it shows you the barn, but there must be a house.
Is it
So
the
those-
Dufferin, the
Dufferin,
University of
for sure.
Royal Farm, Dufferin aggregates renting?
there was a house that Andy and I did, which is nearby, and I'm wondering if the address that we get is the barn that goes with it, because it was on the house we did was on the designation.
So there are two on that street. I drive that way all the time.
Okay.
There's one at the, close to Side Road 20, which is
Right.
the one that this is looking at.
Yeah.
And it's not in good shape, but I do recall seeing some notes from, I don't know when I was looking at it, for that house, because Dufferin wasn't taking care of it, Lynn, and her notes, there was, I don't know, I thought it was on the list, because somehow I came across some documentation for it.
there's another, it's confused me in general. Maybe I shouldn't get that on record. There's another property that the committee looked at for one of the pits on concession 2.
With the concession 7 address.
Correct.
That is at the other end.
At the other end of the,
Yeah, I don't ever go down there.
yeah, like more on this end.
Yes,
Or maybe
it is close to the side road, is that?
I thought it was on the T.
I believe that.
There's two.
Yeah.
One, the one that
Not that one.
you were involved with was in better shape. This one, I don't think Dufferin has done anything. UMG has been considered negligent and other
Yeah, that's.
issues around that property. So I think there's
And
two.
is it close to the barn that? Todd said?
Yeah, the barn is more closer to the driveway and the entrance to the
Mhm.
property, and then there is a small stone house, which is similar to the one that's up the street that I believe you were looking at previously.
And did the people make some points about like the house or?
Through the chair, no, I'm wondering if it was more came about because it's on an aggregate property, so there's always
Yeah.
worry about whoever owns.
Yeah.
The aggregate property, what may or may not happen to that structure. We have no, from my understanding, there's no reason to think anything's happening to that structure right now, like I've never. I just think maybe it was more cause for concern because it is on pit.
So there is a barn and there is an old house, and it's the farm that donated that property, I believe.
Yeah, there's there.
And is the barn in our barn book?
I know where I came across it. It was, at Marjorie, someone gave a tour and they had commented somewhere about how the property looked after the family had donated. That's what I think I read.
I made that note true.
I think John.
About if it's in the bar book.
Even
Some
though,
stuff.
yeah,
So,
Because the barn still looks pretty good on
Mhm.
Google.
I agree. I guess these are the answers I guess we're hoping to get.
so maybe my take is, I think a member of the public expressed an interest for the Heritage Committee to go through it. I think at a minimum, we explore it, report back at the next, Heritage Committee meeting, whether we think there's merit in pursuing it any farther.
There might not be, there might be.
There may or may not be, and I think we're not prepared to make that judgment at this point. I would be happy to participate in that subcommittee, if somebody else wants to work with myself and Laura on, gathering some more information. And I think my take would be, based on that, come back to the May meeting with a discussion item for the larger committee, whether we want to pursue designation of that. Is that a fair approach, or?
Absolutely.
I would abstain because the heritage district, so I'm not sure if you feel spread thin, but
That's fair.
I would almost suggest Cheryl, she has the insight, but I'm not gonna push it because you have the insight to the heritage.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think it'll be a crazy time commitment. It'll just,
I think for me, it's probably some phone conversations with a few people I know
Mhm.
and a bit of research. So maybe be good with that.
So, yeah, can I make that a motion?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll move that the two of you are appointed to a subcommittee to review the heritage value of 7108 concession.
All in support? I guess we're committed
Lily
to it
seconded,
now.
yeah.
Sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So I think, if you can pass that direction on to the member of the public that had expressed that we're looking at it, we haven't made a decision yet, but it'll be forthcoming. I think that gives the, when we get these, we can't just say yes or no without a bit of research. So I think, I would feel more comfortable if we took that approach.
And can you also let us know about if the barn is at the research and
For the property, yeah.
Okay. So that's 8.3, we're into number 9. Do we have any correspondence that has been shared?
No, we don't know.
Any announcements that anybody has with respect to Heritage? Yep. Any notice of motion that we have for the next committee meeting that anybody would like to put on the agenda? Okay. Any new business anybody would like to share?
It's just planning my June. I would like to put my name solely to attending the heritage meetings.
There's nothing new online about it since I last looked last week, so I assume, the same thing. It's in Hamilton. It's those,
When it is?
the 18th to 20th of June. Being in Hamilton, I think, is a lot easier for us. Yeah, I think it's like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. June 18, 19, 20th. And definitely once I see any sort of pre-registration, anything like that, I'll let the committee know. Or once I even see like an itinerary of what's happened, there's not even that out yet. I'll let the committee know. And if we don't need hotel budget, what that may or may not look like to allow more committee members to go. There's not even, the price isn't even out yet or anything like that, but it'll probably all be all at once, and it'll give me like 3 days to do everything, and then which is fine.
Yeah.
But I do keep looking. There's just nothing other than the dates and the location yet.
Question. Have they been publishing their newsletter? Cause I don't think I've seen that either.
We've not seen it either. I followed up with them like last fall, I wanna say, saying like, are we still on the list? We haven't gotten anything. And they responded saying, yes, you still are on the list. You should be getting them.
Oh.
And I said, we have not. So we used to even get a hard copy.
It was digital, but after the fact.
So anytime if I ever see one, I'll make sure to forward it to everyone. Yeah, the Community Heritage Ontario News.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could even look on the website and download it from the website. I haven't done that. It used to just come directly to us.
Well, it was at least an email.
Yeah, it used to come directly to myself. But it's something we're aware of that we're not getting, and we're paying $100 a year.
Oh, we're paying for your members.
We're paid to be a member.
Interesting.
If you need me as chair to insert myself in that, I will take your direction.
Well, I think it's all good right now. I should just look online to see if I can download it.
So just as an action, whenever that Heritage Conference, registration and agenda comes out, you'll pass it around.
Absolutely.
I think historically we've had a budget for 2 people to attend based on geography. You'll make a recommendation. If there's more than 3 people interested, we'll leave it with staff to do their best to accommodate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you think about the cost of mileage and hotels and all that kind of stuff, if we don't have to do.
Mhm.
Then, yeah. And I wanna see the schedule though, I wanna see who's.
Totally.
being
It,
addressed.
right now it just says website coming soon.
Yeah. Sorry.
I know, I feel they need volunteers this.
Field
So
trip.
I have also have an interest in going.
Okay, yeah. Once I see anything, I will, like an itinerary and stuff, I'll circulate it, to the committee for sure.
And realistically, that may very well happen before our next meeting.
Yes, normally it is sometime in March that I remember doing this in the past. So hopefully it's sooner versus later.
And I like the idea of asking for our annual $120. What are they? What's their plans in respect to a newsletter or communications or
Mhm.
not in a negative way, just making sure we're. Okay. Anything else for new business?
I'm sort of going backwards, but did the township find the copy of the barn, like the township's barn book? As I know Lynn brought hers with her, so the township has one.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we have 2 copies.
Well, Lynn
I was second
has
guessing.
Ken's copy.
hers, and
Yeah,
She-
It was,
she knew
it
there
was
was gonna-
donated for a period of time to be returned. Her book, right?
did she do that? I didn't think she left
Did
it
she? Okay.
because she just.
No, she didn't leave it.
No.
She scooped it right up.
Yeah.
I
she
did
said,
notice that.
I left you one, you should have it here,
Gotcha.
hope you find.
That's exactly, I agree, I agree.
Sorry, I was assuming that the summer intern was to digitize that, but you're digitizing the pre-existing copy somewhere, not her copy.
Correct, yeah, we, township, yeah.
Gotcha.
And so when you found that, did you, I had a question last time about the books that are for sale, and someone was gonna look and see if
Do we have any other of those?
other than that's on the display.
We don't have any other ones,
Okay,
but once maybe we work through the digitization of the barn book, I don't really wanna get rid of it though.
no, like, we're just asking because we've gone through our inventory
Correct,
of
right,
what is for sale.
Right. For at the
And we
Historical
wanted to
Society
make
level.
our inventory accurate,
Mhm.
and then we know what we have that you might not, but we just wanted to see if you had any extra stock. So we've noted everything that was
Mhm.
on the rack.
Okay, awesome,
Okay, so that I can give them the answer on that.
absolutely. Alrighty,
Anything else for new business before we wrap it up? My question was just an update on the summer intern, which I guess we'll hear when we hear it.
we love that. I can say that the Heritage Advisory Committee hereby adjourns at 1:50 PM.
Great, can we have a mover and a seconder? Is it Christine and Lily, all in support? Carried then, right? Thank you. So our next meeting is in May.